ובצהלה תוך אמוני העם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה
You shall love Adonai with all of your heart, with all of your soul, and with all of your might. Take to heart these commandments I give you this day. Remember and tell all your children to live by my ways. Speak of them when you're home, when you're on your way, when you lie down and get up and go about your day, as a sign on your hand and upon your head. On the side of your doorposts, my commandments may always be read. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malechuto Leolam Vaed. Please remember, observe all these words that I've said, to live and be holy for years straight ahead. For I am your God, out of Egypt I led. Be holy, be righteous, remember the words that I've said. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malechuto Leolam Vaed. You shall love Adonai with all of your heart, with all of your soul, and with all of your might. Take to heart these instructions I give you this day. Remember and tell all your children to live, oh, to live and remember my ways. Door by door, for generations and generations, and the door by door, by door, by door, the door by door, for generations and generations, and the door by door, by door.
Look around the world, look around your town. Every single age is represented all around. You see them everywhere, every street, avenue or boulevard. Anywhere, any beach, any park or any yard.
The door by door, for generations and generations, and the door by door, by door, by door.
Ecclesiastes said one generation goes and another generation arrives. He got it wrong. For years we all live side by side.
Can you lean on those who arrived here before? Can you learn from those you remember being born?
Can you see that we are all together evermore?
The door by door, for generations and generations, and the door by door, by door, by door. The door by door, for generations and generations, and the door by door, by door, by door. The door by door, for generations and generations, and the door by door, by door,
Shabbat Shalom. Please feel free to come close to us. We like when we can feel your energy up close. Thank you. continue with our Psalm for Peace, Shalom Aleichem, on page
24.
24. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyon, Mi-melech, Malachei HaMelachim,
The Sidurim are under your chairs.
HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem Leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruchuni Leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitchem Leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Just want to remind you once again, Sidurim are under the chairs. It's the one that doesn't say the Torah on it. That's how you can tell what it is. So we've started with some singing, and you may have noticed the first song that you heard has the word hope in it. And as we commemorate the International Holocaust Remembrance Day in this service, we want there to be that layer of hope on top of it, that we can memorialize, and we will hear terrible stories tonight. But if we can carry the hope in our hearts for the future as we go through today, then we can go out from this service inspired. So let's bring the light of Shabbat into the room right now.
Nothing says hope more than our youth that are here tonight. I would like to invite up our Director of Youth Programming, Aaron Wiener. And let's see, some maybe Jonas and Ella and Elle, our Emmanuel people, and a couple of, if some of the kids from the other temples are here, Temple Beth Hillel, feel free to come up. You don't all have
Everyone
to,
likes
but
to see
nice
young people. It
representation.
makes us feel like maybe we're young too.
They will be spending the night locked in the temple. Yes.
Anyone want to join them?
Make a pretty picture, Sophie. Come over here. All right. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. May you have a wonderful evening tonight. Shabbat Shalom.
Whenever we gather together on Friday night, this concept kind of pops into my mind, which is the idea that every one of us this week has been just going all over the place. You know, some people have, anyone here out of California, anyone leave California this week? Been out of the state? No? That's weird. How about out of Los Angeles? Anyone leave Los Angeles and
Goes from, all right, at least one person. But it's this idea, right, that, I mean, I live my life all week. I'm here at the synagogue. I'm having meetings, going to lunch, going to do this and that. You all have your work you're doing. All of you, high school students are in school and doing your extracurricular activities. And we're going and we're going and we're going. And now here we are, Friday night. And all of us have found ourselves right here, right now, together. Doesn't matter what happened during the week yet. It does matter because we bring that with us into this space. So at this moment, as we've lit the candles, we've heard some music, our bodies have started to vibrate a little bit, and we're really entering into Shabbat. Let's try to leave some of that prose of our week, the story of our week. Let's try to leave that behind a little bit and enter into this moment of Shabbat, which let's consider that the poetry of our life. When we think about the important things that move us. So let's spend some time thinking about this week, what happened to you. If you can remember last Saturday night when Shabbat ended, I have a difficult time doing that. I think about my week and all of a sudden images pop in. Go with that image. How did that moment make you feel this week? Why was that important that it came up in your mind as you were thinking about your week? And get yourself ready and prepared for our prayers for the rest of the evening. So let's take a moment now for Chazarat HaShavua, a review of our week. Let's continue to welcome Shabbat. Page 20, Lecha Dodi. Please rise, and we face the entrance, and we welcome the Sabbath bride into our space.
בואי ושלום, עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה וסולה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה,
בואי חלה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. Please stay standing. We've reached our call to worship, page 28. As we approach the Shema is that statement that says, I believe. I believe there's a oneness that ties everything together. And as we enter into it, we thought this evening, if you'd like to, as the Cantor starts to sing, to kind of close your eyes and just listen to this song. The words are an inscription that was written on the wall of a cellar, written by Jews that were hiding during World War II. And so we listen to these words of someone who, hiding for their lives and still believed. We, sitting in our comfy chairs here, we echo those words so many years later. So if you'd like to close your eyes through this, you may, and we'll go right into the Shema in a moment.
I believe in the sun. I believe in the sun. Even when it's not shining. I believe in the Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael,
Let's continue on page 40. We come from there with the idea of believing, and we get into that moment where we believed we were free. It's from next week's Torah portion. We're just getting prepared. Micha Mocha, page 40. We continue now on page 253. We always like to take a moment during our service to think about those people who are ill, because we realize as we come together, there's a lot of times we're a little bit distracted because there's people we love and care about who are in need. So we'll sing the first half of this on 253, and then I have a list of members of our congregation who are in need. Then I'll come around and gather names from you who are here. The Cantor can read names on our chats on YouTube and Facebook, and we'll gather all of these names together and bring our energies towards their healing in the second half of the blessing. Misha Berach. Charles Ehrenberg, Sandra Ehrenberg, Dolores Benjamin, Marlene Brer, Eitan Chaim, David Childs, Annie Childs, Woody Clark, Jay Clement, Clifford Connor, Iris and Gordon Cutler, Richard Dickies, Judy Fenton, Patty Goodman, Felicia Glantz, Andy Hale and Helene Hale, Lori Haynes, Naomi Bat Chaim Ishai Uvrona, Eliza Bat Karen, Lida Katan, Sis Klein, Cara Lewis, Kathleen Agnes McCarthy, Sheila Merowitz, Susan Green Merowitz, David Pick, Warren Roston, Taylor Rubin, Hadar Salem, Jessica Schulman Rana, Sandy Silas, Lindy Sobel, Mahboube Soleimani, Mojde Soleimani, Jesse Taylor, Harava Harona Batzvia Yosef, Halina Wachtel, Amanda and Amy Wolin, Pessel Bat Gittel Ve'ichel, Sonia N. Weggy, Judith Bat Nehama Mordechai, and Howard Zellico.
Lynn Sinay, Miss M, Claudia Gurman, David Kunkel, Judy Fenton, Kathy Atai, Mary Dekabach, Norma Arujo, Karen Alexander, Miss L, David, Miss S, David Kunkel, Kathy Atai, Michael Solomon, Jack Lerner, Ellen Kaminsky, Marilyn Moten, Charles Hardy, Lois Lebman, Rita Newman, Lupe Diaz, Audrey and Judith Bennis, Stephanie Halm, Larissa Leachy, Adisa Prudencia, and Rosa and Myra Batsara, and Irene Vat Eloisa.
Sophia.
John Cook, Linda Caruso. Jim Wilkinson.
Aviva Faye Bat Miriam.
With refuah shlema, a renewal
of body, the renewal
of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We've reached the Amidah, page 46. We'll do the first line together that says, may what's in my heart be able to come out into the world. And then we'll go silent. And when you're finished with the Amidah through about 46 to 62, when you're done with the prayers in the Siddur or prayers from your heart, you may be seated. So let us rise in body or spirit. Page 46, the Amidah.
Adonai
close the Amidah with these words written by Pavel Friedman in 1942. This is from a book of poetry found from the Theresian concentration camp. He died at just 14 years old. The last, the very last, so richly, brightly, dazzling yellow. Perhaps if the sun's tears could sing against a white stone, such a yellow is carried lightly way up high. It went away, I'm sure, because it wished to kiss the world goodbye. For 7 weeks I've lived in here, pent up inside this ghetto. But I have found my people here. The dandelions call to me, and the white chestnut candles in the court. Only I never saw another butterfly. The last, the very last, so richly, brightly, dazzling yellow. Perhaps if the sun's tears could sing against a white stone, that butterfly was the last one. Butterflies don't live in here.
Shabbat Shalom. I always have a very difficult time during these commemorations. Today is the International Holocaust Remembrance Day on the anniversary of Auschwitz being liberated. And then there is, later on in the spring, Israel has Yom HaShoah, which has become kind of the Jewish commemoration of our experience during World War II. And throughout my life, I've had some subtle and some not so subtle reminders that my life is because of what happened in World War II. My mother left Germany at the end of 1938, right after Kristallnacht. As a matter of fact, in our Torah study class on Thursday, it was talking about the Israelites, Parshat Bo, the Israelites leaving and servitude and what that felt like. And all of a sudden, the discussion moved into the Holocaust. And my mother told a story of shortly after Kristallnacht, if not a day or two after, my grandmother, my Oma, was walking up the stairs in her apartment building in Mannheim, Germany, and she runs into a new neighbor. And the new neighbor knew my grandmother was Jewish and said, Mrs. Adler, don't, and my mother's probably watching and she may correct this story, but she said, Mrs. Adler, don't worry, my husband is the head of the SS and no one's going to come into this building. A week later, they leave. And because my grandfather was born in Belgium, we came to America on the Belgian quota. And here we are many years later, and I'm standing in front of you talking about that experience and the experience that many of us may have heard about throughout our lives. Tonight, as we commemorate the International Holocaust Remembrance Day, I want to acknowledge the Torah that you see behind me. If this were Sesame Street, they'd say, one of those Torahs is not like the other. And if you notice, that Torah has, I'm just going to open a little. You don't need to stand. I'm not going to open it all the way, but I just want you to see some of the detail. You can see it says Yom HaShoah on the top, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 camps that are written on the cover of this Torah. Those camps, this Torah was given to us by Edward Mossberg I looked at it, it was September of 2017 when Edward Mossberg came into our chapel. Was anyone here for that service? Okay, so there were a couple people here. It was really an incredibly moving evening, and those 12 concentration camps, Edward and his wife were in each one of those camps, and both survived. It was unbelievable to hear him talk about it. I mention him because this week I read that Poland is awarding him posthumously, since he died in September at the age of 96. They gave him, they awarded him, where is this? The Grand Cross of the Order of Merit, a high Polish state award. If you take a look at the screen, this is him and me in younger days. There it is. This is pre-pandemic, yeah. It was right after the summer. We both look pretty tan. But that was Edward, and I will say, he was one of the most passionate men I've ever met in my life. And indeed, his daughter sat literally right next to him because it did appear as if he was going to pass out. He was so intense when he was talking about what it meant to remember that the Holocaust happened. And that is what he wanted to do in the world, was let the world know that this happened. Most of the time, I understand, when he would go and speak, he would actually wear the clothes that he wore in the concentration camp. And in just another note on him, this summer when we were at Yad Vashem, there's a courtyard that you can sit in after you leave, and his name indeed is on the wall as a major contributor to Yad Vashem. So, you know, I wanted to start this evening by mentioning Edward Mossberg, and we include his name when we say Kaddish later today. An incredible man, lived a long time and devoted his life to telling about the experience of the Holocaust. And he joins the Torah to the left there, that very tall one, which is our Holocaust Torah from the Czech Republic that's been here for over 30 years in our congregation. Carrying these two Torahs in our arks, I believe, is truly significant. It's a significant symbol of who we are as a Jewish people. We remember our stories. That's who we are. We remember our stories. We remind ourselves of the beautiful stories of our people, the darkest stories of our people. And throughout our calendar, we're reminded of the gratitude for life and the beauty and darkness that exists in our everyday lives. That's what it means to be a Jewish person, I believe. And even though we remember the darkest moments of our history, we remember the slavery in Egypt. We remember the destruction of the temples. We remember our expulsion from Spain and Portugal. We remember the horrors of World War II. But we also remember that we were redeemed from Egypt, that we rebuilt the temple, that a rich Jewish synagogue life began after the second temple was destroyed, and we flourished elsewhere after we were expelled from Spain and Portugal. And we celebrate the state of Israel born as the ashes of the Holocaust were settling. That's the hope that we bring into every tragedy. We remember. That's why we need to be vigilant when facing anti-Semitism, because we remember. That's why we need to be kind to the stranger and the other, because we remember. That's why we need to stand up to any kind of racism, discrimination, alienation, and violence against a group of people just because of where they came from or what they believe, because we remember. So tonight, we celebrate the survival of 5 men and women. We're going to hear them speak about unspeakable moments in their lives. We were really looking forward to having Helena Wachtel with us tonight. And when we found out she had COVID, we're like, well, COVID, yeah, can't she come anyway? No. But really, it would have been wonderful to hear her speak, and we will have her come. We're planning on making that perhaps our Yom HaShoah commemoration. But instead, we're going to hear these 5 interviews. I believe these haven't been heard before, isn't that correct?
They've been put out recently in a partnership with the World Jewish Congress and a media company called Attention. And the last one that you'll see was just released today. So it's a part of a We Remember campaign that they've been. We'll get to that towards the end. So this is how we remember. We remember by hearing it from those who experienced it. In just a short period of time, there will not be any survivors left. There will be no one who actually witnessed what went on in Europe in World War II in the first part of the 20th century. We will be left, you and I, to pass on these stories, to pass on the horror, but also to pass on the notion, and I would like to say Jeffrey Wharton talked about this with me today, the fact that they're survivors, not victims. They are survivors. They are the strongest of heroes, and their strength to survive, their ability to live their lives with love and family and hope and courage, it's an inspiration for us. So as we see these interviews, let us take them into our hearts and let us carry their hope for our Jewish future, for love for their families, both who perished in the camps and those who carried them into their future. We can hold their courage inside of us for sure. And we can carry their legacy into our future. And we never forget. We remember. Okay, let's take a look.
My most traumatic memory was when we were taken to the gas chamber and undressed, and we waited and waited for hours. We were freezing, our whole children's barrack. And then they told us to get dressed and go back to our barrack, and we never knew why. My name is Tova Friedman, and I am a Holocaust survivor. My family lived in Tomaszów Mazowiecki for hundreds of years. I was born in September 7th, 1938.
War has struck again.
We arrived to Auschwitz, and that's where, at the trains when we get off, they immediately undressed us. And the people who weren't healthy were taken to the gas chambers. I lost, besides my mother and father that luckily survived, my entire mother's side. 150 people were murdered, aunts, uncle, cousin, grandparents, and my father's side also. We were very few left after the war from a very big family. I tell this story because I want to remember. I am a witness. And the other thing is to be vigilant and to think of what one can do if they encounter this kind of evil. Because we have to realize that it doesn't happen suddenly. I didn't wake up one day and I was at Auschwitz. No, it was very slow, and there are always signs, and we have to recognize the signs.
I was 4 years old when we were shipped off to Auschwitz. We were basically shoved into cattle cars with hardly any room to breathe. My grandfather went on a different car and he suffocated. in that ride to a concentration camp. But we managed to make it. My name is Michael Bornstein. I was born on May 2nd, 1940. My mother was working and she went to the electrified fence to try to find out where her husband and her son were. So she asked some of the men, and at the end of the day, she found out that they were killed in the gas chamber. And at that point, she was ready to go against the electrified fence and just give it up. But she had me, and she needed to look out for her son, so she didn't commit suicide. What happened in Germany when Hitler was around in the 1930s is people didn't speak up. You had Kristallnacht, and everyone, was just there. We have to be cognizant and stand up to try to minimize discrimination. We need to speak up.
In Auschwitz, the first day, we were taken to get our hair cut off, and then they poured disinfectant all over our bodies, and then we were taken to showers. My name is Rosalie Simon, and I was born in Velká Kriva, Czechoslovakia. We were ordered to get undressed naked, and one by one, we had to pass Dr. Mengele. He motioned to somebody to take me away. At that point, I knew that I was selected to go to the gas chamber. They locked me up. My sisters left, and I was hysterical. My tears were running down my face, and I was knocking on the window, begging, somebody let me out of here. I don't want to die. There was a mother and daughter who were also separated. Well, the mother could not accept to send her child by herself to the gas chamber. She volunteered to be locked up with her daughter. Since there was an extra person who volunteered to go with her child, that saved my life. After the war was nearing to an end, we were evacuated, and after a few days, the whole train stopped. And they opened the doors. We saw the American army running towards us. I cannot tell you the joy, the unbelievable joy that we felt when we saw the American army coming towards us, and the SS were holding their hands up. I still dream about my innocent little brother and my mother, and I still cry for them. It's 77 years later, but I will never forget them.
My first memory was to be in a prison inside a camp, and then when they let me out, seeing the thousands of people, the gallows, the screaming, the barking dogs. It was terrifying. My name is Eugene Cantor, and I am a Holocaust survivor. I was born in February 1939 in Krakow, in Poland. I used to go and watch the executions, where they took people to a large pit and they machine gunned them, and I would come home and I would tell my mother, and she'd tell me never to go there again. I came to New York in April 1950. I just thought New York was the most wonderful place I'd ever been to, because if the guys didn't like you, they called you a jerk. But never was there an idea that they called you about your religion. I think the Germans are not evil people. They were taught to hate. Pretty soon, my voice will be silent, and I wanted my story to be told.
We were not allowed outside after curfew. If we were, our chances of being shot or beaten up were 100%. My name is Clara Fedder McCarthy. I was born in Amsterdam, Holland, in 1937. One day, people were being ushered on the streets into big trolleys and being shipped away. We didn't know where. And then one day it became our turn. My grandmother, my mom, Maurice, my brother, and myself. We were then shipped to Bergen-Belsen, the concentration camp. It was not a death camp. It might as well have been. It was so horrendous. There were no bathroom facilities. What they had was a big plank of wood with buckets going across. Just imagine going to a bathroom with thousands of other people in the same place. That's when typhus started becoming a very, very major disease in the camps. There was a German guard, and my brother and I called him Popeye, because he also always had a pipe in his mouth. And he would walk up and down, counting us. And the colder it was, the longer it took him to count. And people were dying in line. But if we moved, we knew we'd either get shot or beaten up. My sister survived for 11 months, and just before her first birthday, she died. When people died, we would put them on a wheelbarrow to be taken to their graves. They were just laying there, thousands and thousands of people. When my sister died, I kept her and held her, because my mother at that time was very, very, very ill with typhus, and I carried my sister. I remember laying her down very, very gently, because everybody else was just thrown into. That I remember. My mother lived till she was 74, if that's what you want to call living. She never got over what happened to her. The first time that I went back, the feeling that I had, did it really happen? Did I really lose 20 members of my family here in this country? This peaceful country? I want the younger generation to know that this same type of thing is happening in other parts of the world. I would like the younger generation to stick together and be a compassionate people. Take part in the hashtag #WeRemember campaign for International Holocaust Remembrance Day. Write the words "We Remember" on a sheet of paper. Take a photograph of yourself holding the sign, post it on social media with the hashtag #WeRemember. Don't let our story be forgotten.
In the rising of the sun, we remember. In the blowing of the wind, we remember. In the opening of buds, we remember. We remember.
In the blueness of the sky, we remember. In the rustling of the leaves, we remember. As the years start and it ends, we remember. We remember.
When we're weary and need strength, we remember. When we're lost and sick at heart, we remember. When we've joys we've yearned to share,
We remember. We remember.
so long as we live, they
at the end of that video, they asked us to write "We Remember" on a piece of paper. And if you notice, we had pieces of paper in the front that said "We Remember," or a piece of paper we asked you to write "We Remember." So I'd like to have all of us come up and stand over here with these signs that we will hold up. We will take a picture, and we can put that on our social media to show that all of us are participating in this We Remember campaign. So I'd like to invite everybody to come right up onto these stairs here so that we can take this picture.
Is Matt taking the picture? Do you want my?
I don't know, someone has my phone.
Oh, someone has your phone. Great. Karen, you want to be in it? If you're online and want to send us your pictures too with a sign, please do.
It has been extraordinary. Thank you.
No, sorry, here's this.
As we continue on with the service, where we've come to the Kaddish, and actually we have two things to do, and we're going to do this tonight, as I mentioned at the very beginning, that this has been a difficult service, but at the end we want to end it with hope. And on the last Friday of every month, we do usually birthday blessings. So if anyone had a birthday in the month of January, we would like to offer you a special birthday blessing. Is there anyone January birthday? Okay, we do have some people. So after this, we'll bring you up for a blessing. We'll have our final song, and we do have some oneg Shabbat so that we can eat together and chat together. As we say Kaddish Yatom, we especially remember those members of our congregational family who have died in the last month, whose families are observing Shloshim. Estelle Mickey Tenser and Betty Jean Wallace, Joan Ruth Miller Abrams, and Helen Berman. We also recall those in our congregation that have died at this season in years past. There is a list that will go up on the screen as well. And of those names, we especially remember Mitchell Lerner, Teresa Weisberg, and Fanny Schaefer, and all of those that are listed on the screen. I'd like to ask if there's anyone here in the midst of Shloshim or the anniversary of a loved one's death or in the first year of mourning. If you'd like to stand and as I acknowledge you, tell us who you're here to say Kaddish for.
My parents, Rachel and Clement Franco. You just said Estelle Mickey Tenser. Today's the end of the My dad, Morris Paul.
That's okay, go ahead. No, it's on you. You got it. And especially for this evening, is there anyone that would like to offer family members that died in the Holocaust so that we could remember their names on this evening?
A whole bunch. So my mother and my father were both child Holocaust survivors. My mother was in Auschwitz, Mildorf, Dachau, Treblinka. I never met any grandparents or aunts and uncles. So I didn't remember all of them, but I wrote this is just my mother and my father and their sisters and brothers and my grandparents.
Thank you.
May they all rest in peace.
May their memory be a blessing. Is there anyone else that would like to mention? Yeah. Yeah, all of the Rothschild and Adlers in my family.
My grandmother escaped Germany, Berlin, but her family died there.
Are there any names that from online?
Teresa says her mother, a Holocaust survivor, and another Holocaust survivor, Cecilia Miller.
When we say Kaddish Yatom, I usually mention those that have died in the Holocaust, and so we especially consider that as we say Kaddish Yatom tonight. But we also say it for those that died from COVID-19 over the last 3 years. And we say it for all of the violence that's been going on this week, especially in Israel, the many lives that have been taken in the last 3 days. So let's rise together. We say Kaddish Yatom. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabba, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabba mevarach le'olam u'l'olmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקדושה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel. V'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high create harmony amongst all of us and the whole world. And we say, Amen. Amen. You may be seated.
Announcements and birthday.
Let's transition into announcements
Yeah.
so that we can make our way to our birthday blessings. And I'm going to ask Jeffrey to come forward right after announcements to give a little welcome from our El Presidente.
Sarah, I'm going to need a little help, and Spencer, because the folder's missing. So, wait, before you go to that, though, first of all, I just want to say you will see when you exit a giant sign that says to join me and the American Conference of Cantors this coming October for a trip to Poland, Prague, Krakow. It's not only a trip where we will go to a concentration camp and delve more into the history of the Holocaust, but it's also a trip with Cantors to celebrate these vibrant cities and to celebrate the music and to know that these cities still exist today. There are still Jews there today, and if you are interested, please come talk to me. It's October 14th through the 28th. There's actually a early bird, $150 off by like next week, but please join us. The last mission we did like this with congregants was to Cuba, and now we're going to Poland and Prague. So I just want to remind you all to reach out if you have questions. All right, Sarah, what do we got? Or Spencer? Well, every Thursday, join Rabbi Aaron for Tune in Torah.
You don't need to have any prior knowledge. We don't even really look at commentaries. We come in, we look at some of the texts, we talk about what comes up for people. And it's a great conversation, and
Absolutely.
Please join us.
Next. We have a couple of wellness workshops that are coming up. There are only a handful of spots left for this one, which is next Thursday, February 2nd at 6:30 p.m. With martial arts Grandmaster Ladon. It's just on Robertson, right near here. And the focus, as you can see, will focus on Harmony Fitness from a holistic approach. So please, we would love to see our members there at the studio. That is that. Okay, I'm so excited. Next Friday, I know tonight has been a difficult night. Next Friday will be a joyful, joyful evening of song and trivia. Danielle, raise your hand. Our queen, our Shabbat queen of trivia is right there, Danielle Soto. It's multi-generational. We already have some team leaders. We are looking for more team leaders who will help recruit people to your table. Multi-generational teams will help because millennials don't know the answers that baby boomers know. But we will have it'll be all a dinner. It's not a separate service. Our intergenerational choir will be singing, and we're super excited for just like a giant Shabbat dinner. So please join us, RSVP today. Just so you know, for people that would go back one, that's at next week for everyone here. If you're coming, 6:45. If you don't want to come to the dinner, there will be a very simple, I think they called it simplest Shabbat at 6:15, really for just Kaddish. You can go to the next one, simplest Shabbat. There you go. A shortened Shabbat, a very, very short service. All right, next. Our next Lador Vador class starts on February 7th. Please join our rabbinical intern, Michael, to delve further into generations and generations. Hold on, Rabbi Aaron.
I can elucidate on this.
Okay.
He's going to be exploring kind of how generational relationships have been talked about over, in history. What does Judaism say about it in ancient Judaism? What does it say about it at different times of history? And then looking at how generations interact in the modern world.
Awesome.
So it should be quite interesting.
And that's only on Zoom.
Right.
Those 3 Tuesdays. Great. And I already forgot. Every third Friday, come to LA Oneg. Wine, beer, donuts at 8 o'clock. And our service at 8:30. Is that it? Oh, okay. Bum-ba-da-dum, bum-bum-bum. This is a big reveal, actually. Our Purim spiel this year on March 5th. The whole community is going to join together on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. First, we'll have a costume parade. Then we'll have the spiel. Then we'll have a Purim party with carnival-type food and events. So it is Purim Story Wrapped. If you're not so familiar with Spotify, there was a huge thing this past year, which was like your music wrapped, your most popular artists that you've been listening to. So you will have to see how Esther tells her story using songs by Lizzo and Meghan Trainor and just my favorite contemporary artists today. No. But save the date, March 5th. And also for kids, if you want to be a part of it, we're going to start rehearsals a week from Sunday. Ooh. Is that it? Oh, join us tomorrow morning for services and as we celebrate the bat mitzvah of Sharon Abramson. Super excited. Is that it? Oh yes, Simchas. We actually have two B'nai Mitzvah tomorrow. James is in the afternoon, but Mazel Tov to James, and Mazel Tov to Hazel, Wolf, Blitz. Welcome to the world, Mazel Tov. That was actually supposed to be from last week, but I forgot. So
I have that same thing from my head.
We're super excited, and there's Sharon's Mazel Tov for your bat mitzvah. I think that's it.
There it is. All right. Anyone who has a birthday in January, or if you want, you could lie and come up and just get a birthday blessing. But if you're born in January, please come up and get your blessing.
And we'll close with Osei Shalom when we start singing. Put your arms around each other. And come, we're going to go all the way up there. Oh.
Actually, why don't we rise so we can do this blessing, go right into our song, and come on, right in front of the ark here.
Do we need a microphone?
Typically, over the years, we've asked people to tell us come like closer so you're not so spread out, who the president was when they were born, but that was too revealing, so we're not going to do that. How about give me your sign? Are you all Capricorns? I should have done a special Capricorn blessing. Well, because you could be Aquarius if you were born like now. You'd be Aquarius. No Aquarius. Any Aquariuses here?
You want names?
Sure, you could.
David, January 2nd.
Oh wait, hold on a second.
Oh yeah, give us the birthday. That's good.
Is this
That's
on?
good.
Test 1, 2. No, not on.
Number 7. Numbers.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
There we go.
Vera, David, January 2nd.
Oh.
Cynthia Palma, January 5th.
Benjamin Stein, January 11th.
Barry Komsky, January 17th.
Danielle Soto, January 3rd. I'm freeload from December 24th because temple was closed. And you promised the blessing.
We did it on December 16th.
January 27th.
Oh, today's your birthday.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Misha Berach Avotenu V'Imotenu. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless all of you who have come here to celebrate your birthday. For this year, we wish for you continued health. We wish for you safety. We wish for you comfort. And may you continue to count the blessings of family. May you be renewed as you approach this next year of your life. May your body stay strong. May your mind stay sharp. And may your soul be lifted by the presence of loved ones in your life. May you continue to feel the deep personal relationships in those people with whom you share your life's journey, and may you pursue the passions that make your life unique and make your life fulfilling. Each and every year, we have an opportunity to grow and to find fulfillment in our lives, no matter what the past year was like. May you find the space to breathe and to welcome the future with an open heart. Through all of your days, may you feel blessed and safe. May you feel luminous and loved. And may you feel joyous and whole. And we all say to that, Amen.
Yom Huledet Sameach. Yom Huledet Sameach. Yom Huledet Sameach. Yom Huledet Sameach.
You may go sit.
Oh, say shalom v'ramah. Oh, yeah, say shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'ru birthday people, come back. Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al Yisrael. And your birthday keychain. Yaseh Shalom. Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom. Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom.
Is it your birthday?
Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom. Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu
What's that?
ve'al Yisrael.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom. See you next week.
Have a beautiful
6:45.
evening.